Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I have a question for you about salary, about bad salary negotiations. Oh, it sucks when you do this. I remember doing some kind of video where I was basically like, you're screwed. We'll see if we can find that video. I don't know. That might be a hard one to find. But someone had asked about how they mishandled salary negotiation. And I was like, yeah, you're screwed. We'll see what I have to say about this one. But before I do that, I do want to tell you about an awesome sponsor that we have at Simple Programmer, which you may have heard of before, which is Hired at Hired.com. So here's the deal. Hired is basically a new way of doing a job search. Instead of you like applying for all these jobs, they come to you. You fill out one application and employers come to you. It makes a lot of sense to me. I love Hired. I've been working with them, and they're just awesome company. Really great company. Really trying to help software developers. So if you want to check them out, all you gotta do is go to hired.com/simpleprogrammer. And you're going to want to use that link because they'll give you like $2,000 instead of $1,000 if you get a job using their service, which is pretty good. You know, get an extra $1,000, $2,000 really. So anyway, check them out. You know, even if you're just curious, just go to simpleprogrammer.com or go to hire.com/simpleprogrammer and check them out. All right, so let's get into the video here. So I am going to anonymize this. I'm going to protect the names. I'm going to anonymize the names and the companies in order to protect the innocent, but we're going to use real numbers here. So it's a little bit of a long one. Hi, I'm T. We'll say Bob. There's a lot of Bobs. Or Bubba. Let's go with Bubba. Hi, I'm Bubba, a 25-year-old junior in college with about a year experience in manual QA testing. I just started at XYZ company in Paris. We'll say. Missed you by a few years, it seems. There's a hint there. As a software engineer on August 1st. This is my first time working as a software engineer, and I've only lived in France, although we know this is in the US, for just over a year now, coming from California. The XYZ recruiter that I worked with had asked me early in the process what my salary requirements were. I told him I really didn't feel comfortable saying a number, but he basically said I can't move forward without giving him one. There's some ways to get around that, but okay. I said my bare minimum was $50,000. Okay. If you do have to give a number, give a high number, because they might still put you through the process. But okay, you know, not knowing what software engineers make in general, let alone in France. And the recruiter said, I can definitely do better than that for you. Uh-oh. Well, that's a bad sign. Well, 2 months later, I finally received an offer letter for $50,000 flat. Not the we can beat that number I was hoping for. Not wanting to insult XYZ company, not being familiar with negotiating salaries. I've never worked a salary role before. Not wanting to delay the process even more, and not really understanding what software engineers make in France, I accepted without hesitation. Now, a few months later, I've been speaking to current employees, former employees, and doing a lot of research on sites like Glassdoor, and found out the average software engineer with my 1 year experience in education, even without bachelor's, is starting out anywhere from $75,000 to $85,000 here in France at XYZ company. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. I am making about 40% less than what my peers started at who have the same, sometimes less experience. XYZ company does year-end reviews, and at the end of the calendar year, I was told by my teammate that in the 11 years he has worked on the project I'm on, he has gotten 2 raises, and the other 9 times they said it's not in the budget. I was also told my review is basically going to be quick and summed as new employee under 120 days, which leads me to think I'm not getting a raise at all. Is there any way to salvage this? I know asking for the 40% increase to get me on par in the industry standard is out of the question, but is there anything else I can do? Some people suggested stating that I want to be at 85K within 3 years and asked what I can do to get there. Some stated asking for 10% increase is the most I can even attempt, and even though I'm out of luck, finally, most have stated I'm just screwed. I should start applying places around my 6-month mark and simply state this was my first role in the industry, and after a few years in the industry, no one would even ask why I left so quickly. Please, John, help me out. Should I bring it up during the review sooner than later? My resource manager is in Colorado, so we never have face-to-face conversations, and this review will be done over Skype. Sincerely, Bubba. All right, Bubba. Here's the deal. Okay, so there's a few things here. I happen to know this company that you're talking about, and so I'm going to give you specific advice for your situation, which might apply to some people that are in similar situations. So the company that you're talking about, I happen to know that when you come into that company without a bachelor's degree, which sounds like what you just said, what they do is they put you at the bottom of the pay scale, right? They say that they only hire people with degrees, but they will hire someone without a degree, but then they will screw you. So I don't think there was much you could have done. Maybe you could have made a little bit more, but they are so HR specific. And a lot of corporations are, where they have requirements and they're like, okay, if you don't have a degree, blah, 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 if you're starting out, years experience, this is the rank you must be at. You must be at this pay scale, pay grade. They have like a R45 or whatever it is, whatever your curve is, your number, and you're there, right? And you can get raises within that pay band and whatnot, but you are not jumping up to where you should be getting paid. And that just sucks, right? That's just how it is. It's very hard to combat that. So you may have just been screwed. It may just be what it is because you don't have that degree, I've done it. You can check out my playlist on college and degrees and whether or not you should get them or not. And, in some companies it is going to make a huge difference because they're so HR specific. There's so much entrenched in this that they have rules that they just processes and procedures that they follow. And that's the policy that's you're just stuck with that. Now, with that said, what can you do in this particular situation here? In general, right? Let's pretend like we don't know that there are these rules, and let's see if maybe we can combat it anyway. Okay, so probably what you're going to have to do to get the kind of raise that you want, I'm just going to be honest with you, I think the people that said you're screwed were probably the closest, is that you're probably going to have to get another job. Do not wait 6 months. Just start applying now. And I'll tell you why. Because having a 6-month stint on your resume, it actually is going to be better to have a 1-month or 2-month stint on there and just not even put it on your resume. At some point, you'll just drop it off and you won't even state that you worked there because who cares? Because it's only a couple of month thing. It's really easy to explain away. No one's going to care. But if they did, you'd be like, well, I worked for this. It just wasn't the right job. It wasn't the right fit. I was just starting out. Whatever, and you can say something like that. Say good things, but just say that, and then everyone will understand, right? If you have a bunch of like 2 or 3 month stints, like 5 of them that are like back to back, that's a pattern, that's a problem. But one of them, even a 6 months one, it's not going to matter. So don't worry about that. So I think the best thing that you're going to do is just to apply and try to get those jobs. And the thing is, like, do not undercut. I did this video on Ask for the Moon, okay? I believe I did a video on Ask for the Moon. If not, I should do one, but I'm pretty sure I did. And that's what you want to do. Ask for the moon. Sometimes you get it. Always ask high. This is just such an important thing to do, right? So many people play it too safe, too close to the cuff. You can always backpedal if you need to, but ask for the moon, and sometimes you get it and sometimes it does blow the deal. But in the times that you get it, it's like an arbitrage situation, right? You get so much more benefit. There's an unequal benefit for asking for the moon and getting it, or just the way that if you're doing negotiations, right? When you ask higher, you're more likely to get what you want. So you always want to ask higher. You don't want to start low. You don't want to be timid and shy and afraid that you're going to lose opportunities. You got to be bold. You got to be aggressive, man. So do not ask for your minimum. When you made the mistake when you said 50K, you should have said like 70, 80, 90K, something around that, even if you thought that was high, okay? And when you got the offer, you should have negotiated. I mean, you know that. I'm not trying to but just for the future, okay? At this point though, like I said, I mean, you can try, like what I would do is I would have a ton of information backing up what your salary should be and why you're saying that it should be that, and bring that in. And I would not bring that in at the review. The review is not the time. It's too late. They've already rubber stamped and decided what's going to happen to you at the time. You need to be doing it now, before the review, like a couple months before the review, and saying, look, here's the thing. I need to talk to you at this review. I really want to get my pay scale. I love this company. I want to work here. I love the team I'm on, all this stuff. But I have to figure this out. I've been doing research. I've got this data on Glassdoor. I have to make the most of my opportunity, right? I've got loans to pay. I've got, I can't be being paid 40% less than what I am reasonably expected to be paid in my role at this point. And have the data and just explain it that way. Don't make any threats. Don't say you're leaving. Don't say that. Just explain that. And then at the review, then you can try. Then hopefully the ball is already in motion, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to have a shot. I mean, it's still very slim. But maybe your manager has enough clout, has enough connections to be able to say, look, hey, HR, we need to jump this guy up to the ranking, right, in the corporate, because this is where he should be, right? This is an issue, we don't want to lose this person that we just spent a bunch of money recruiting and hiring. Maybe, okay? Other than that, you can just stay there and just try. Even if you try to just climb up just getting raises, always try to get your raise a couple months ahead of time. Do not, at the review, it's too late. They've already made the decision. It's really, really hard. You need to make it known, and you need to be asking for the raise and expecting it saying at that review, I'm expecting that, this is why, and providing all this data. So if you're more interested in some of this, you can check out, I've got a book coming out that might be out by now called The Complete Software Developer's Career Guide. It is sort of free. Like if you sign up here, you'll get the chapters delivered to you via email. You can buy the book when it comes out. But I talk about a lot about salary negotiation and these kind of strategies and stuff like this. This is really important. This is a really important thing. So anyway, that's all I have time for today. I'm already running a little bit longer than I wanted on this question. But if you have a question for me, you can always email me at john@simpleprogram.com. I do get a lot of questions, so I cannot always answer them right away, especially when you put time demands on me and say this is urgent, like this one. But hey, I try. Anyway, if you like this video, click the subscribe button below. That will ensure that you get all of the kind of tips and advice that I have. I do like 2 to 3 videos a day on all kinds of topics, not just your career, but your life in general. So would appreciate a subscribe, thumbs up, or shares are always welcome as well. And I will talk to you next time. Take care.